a reminder, if you are not on the list and you are found inside the court,
why are you threatening us? Why are you threatening us? You have to be careful not to threaten.
But you don't have reading such. You don't have reading.
Sajja muddugavu myaka makayinza obutamuli. Hey. I'm going to see what
You don't want to be sexy by your left. You don't have it.
It's against the law, counsel. Musobola okukwatamu nkukkiriza sijja kugamba ekyo. You want to see?
Yeah. My wallet. Sorry? You can pick it up. Oh.
Our lead counsel, lead of opposition and the general muntu here briefly about the proceedings today, but all I can tell you, we are glad that we are united more than ever before to deal with the madness here at the General Court Martial. You can see this is a real kangaroo court. These are not proceedings of a court of law. You can see the environment is not conducive for dispensation of justice. Whatever is happening here, we have said before and we want to repeat it, is a travesty of justice, it's a mockery of justice, it's a violation of our constitution and all international instruments regarding fair trial, fair hearing and administration of justice. The team from across Africa, we are very, very much appreciative and we are determined to push for the clearance of all the lawyers coming from other jurisdictions to beef up our team. They wanted to frustrate us, to suffocate the process, to stop the Honorable Martha Karua here from leading the team. But we are determined, as you witnessed today, we insisted the proceedings will not continue unless the lead counsel. We are retreating back after here. We are retreating back as a team and the leaders to work out and weave out other measures of ensuring that we get our lead counsel cleared. The law council must understand one thing. This is East Africa. The law council must understand one thing. Dr. Besije and Obed have got a right to legal representation to get lawyers of their choice, and this is a non-derogable right under the Constitution. We are not changing the position. The lead counsel is Martha Karua. She will continue to lead us until we get justice. That is it. No retreat, no surrender. Thank you. Allow ngabwe mulabye bigenda maaso wano. Je bayita katemba mu kooti. Siwali wenkanya mubalabye abalamuzi bwe batudde eringa abalamuzi. Naye eyefudde judge advocate ye yeyitanga omulamuzi. Atuuse n'agamba n'ogamba ye kyasalawo kye kisembayo. In fact, judge advocate ye mulamuzi. Noli prosecutor atuuse n'okugamba abo bonna mu bagambe tebaddamu n'okwogera ku musango tebakola ki kwegamba ng'olaba nti kooti si kooti naye kangaru. Ne tuli bamativu nti tuli wamu ng'ekitole nga bwe mutulabye wano. Jo statement eyakoleddwa tujeyanza nnyo nga tiimu ekulembeddemu leader of opposition wano ng'ekulembeddwa mu leadership ya NUP n'abakulembeze abalala. Jeno bani bonna ffenna abali wano. Naye tiimu eyavudde ebweru ey'abannamateeka tujeyanziza nnyo. Olwaleero Martha Karua ali wano. Tugambye kooti nti ya Dr. Besije n'Obed be balina right mu ssemateeka okusalawo ani akulembera tiimu. Tetulina leader mulala, omukulembeze waffe akulembera ligo tiimu eno, kapiteeni waffe ye Honorable Martha Karua. Tweyanza nnyo ne Nana Kovi all the way from Angola ne counsel from Kenya n'abalala abagenda okujja era tugenda kati mu law council okwatagana ne law council twagala law society ne agencies endala zonna zituyambeko tulina okufuna certificate ya Martha Karua mu mbeera yonna omusango guno okugenda maaso kubanga ye lead council waffe ate era nga n'emisango bagamba piso bazisanga ne Dr. Besigye mu Kenya bagamba bajidiza Athens Ruda olwaki ogoba baleera abaava ebweru nga Dr. Besigye wamukwatira bweru ekyo tetujja.
Ugandan members of the bar, that is the legal councils, who have teamed up to represent Kizza Besigye and Mr. Lutale. That solidarity is needed in the wake of aggression and dictatorial tendencies. Now, you have witnessed for yourself, for the longest time when we started this press conference, a military police vehicle standing here with the siren on to obstruct. It has now moved away. You can see it has not gone anywhere. It is now neatly parked. Why couldn't they park to give us silence before? These are the forms of aggression that are happening daily, from obstruction to access. Yes, I was denied the certificate to practice by the Law Council. I am contesting that, not for myself. As my colleagues have said, what we are pushing is the right of Dr. Kizza Besigye and Mr. Lutale to have a team of lawyers of their choice and to have a lead counsel of their choice. That is what we shall be pushing, and that is what the Law Council must consider. Not about me, but the right to counsel and counsels of choice. I want to say that beyond counsel of choice, even with the denial of the license, I appeared today as a jurist from Jumuiya to observe the proceedings. And because I remain a lawyer, whether the Law Council approves my license or not, I am at liberty to wear my attire to identify myself as a lawyer. And therefore, I came robed. My robes are not a criminal offense. My robes are a result of the training I have had. And nobody can strip me of my robes unless if I commit a criminal offense, which I have not. We are here today joined by a fellow jurist from Kenya. Let's so kindly, no double standards. If you could allow the president, Yoweri Museveni, to bring Kaminwa from Kenya, Dr. Kaminwa, my senior, for a civil matter, a criminal matter is more serious than a civil matter. That involves the life and liberty of Dr. Besigye and Mr. Lutale. No double standards. What's good for the goose is also good for the gander. Let them review their decision. We are going to contest it, and we expect that they will not apply double standards.
This court session, as you may be aware, trial observation is an instrument to ensure human rights to fair trial and access to justice. So I will not get into the details of the session, but I would also add that my presence is a sign of solidarity, is a sign of there is a need for us as human rights defenders in Africa to join and be together, raise our voices, be creative as well, and stand up against brutality, against authoritarian regimes, and defend the rule of law, which is the basis for guarantee human rights. So my presence here is to support all those lawyers, professionals, human rights defenders, but also be before the court and make the court accountable to the principles of the rule of law.
Today, 10th December is International Human Rights Day. This was after the UN General Assembly adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It is so profound that on a day like this, when we are meant to be celebrating and ensuring that the human rights of all individuals in this our country are respected, we are here because of a violation of human rights of Dr. Kizza Besigye, of Haji Obed Kamulegeya, and other Ugandans that have been through this court, that have suffered persecution of this military court. It is good that now, as the opposition, we are persecuted together. As NUP, we have had several of our supporters that have been persecuted by this court and several other opposition leaders. Now it is Dr. Kizza Besigye. We are saying we are united against this injustice. And that's why we are here, to say no to this injustice, to say human rights must be respected. It is not okay. And they want to make it okay that they can persecute some of us and the rest of us move on as if it's business as usual. No. And we're calling upon all Ugandans out there. This should actually not just be a matter of the opposition. Some colleagues in the NRM have been persecuted too, freed by courts of law, and they are rearrested and so on. So any lover of human rights in this our country, any lover of peace, should be behind the quest to see that we clip the wings of this military court. It should cease to operate the way it does. Olunaku tujjukira ekiyitibwa International Human Rights Day, kubanga UN General Assembly yagazetinga olunaku luno. Kitegeeza nti tuba tulina kubanga tujaguza nti eddembe ly'obuntu litwalibwanga ekikulu, naye tuli wano ku lunaku luno lwa International Human Rights Day kubanga ate eddembe ly'abannaffe abamu lityoboolebwa. Eddembe lya Dr. Kizza Besigye, Haji Obed Kamulegeya ne bannayuganda abalala abazze batulugunyizibwa kkooti eno. Kirungi nti ffe nga ab'opposition tuzze katutandise okukwatira awamu ku nsonga zino tugamba nti bwe munaatulugunya omu ku ffe, ffenna kijja tukwatako. Kubanga kyekize kitubeerako ffenna abawagizi baffe nga NUP bazze batulugunyizibwa kkooti eno ne bannayuganda abalala. Era nga tukuba omulanga eri bannayuganda, teweetaaga kubeerawo opposition n'aba NRM nammwe bajja batulugunya. Olunaku lwammwe lujja kutuuka bwe mutaasitukiremu ne mugaa nti eddembe ly'abannansi lirina okuteekebwa mu nkola era okutwalibwa ng'ekikulu. Mwebale nnyo. General Muntu.
Well, let me first thank the defense lawyers for standing firm and together to ensure that our colleagues, Honorable Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegeya, that their rights to choose who represents them stands. I think today the statement the defense has made is good, and all peace-loving Ugandans, all Ugandans who want to see the rule of law, need to understand that 2001, when General Museveni had an electoral case in court, he was represented by Kaminwa. Kaminwa is a Kenyan. He had 100 lawyers on his team. There's precedent. 2 weeks ago, I saw a panel of leaders of East Africa, presidents. General Museveni was one of those. He's fond of talking about integration. I saw him doing analysis of what has caused weakness on this continent, and he was referring to the chiefs of the past, which he does all the time. For East Africa to be united, for Africa to be united, leadership at the top is very, very critical. You walk the talk. You don't say all the nice things, and your actions contradict what you talk about in public. There's absolutely no reason why, when Dr. Kizza Besigye and Haji Obed Kamulegeya choose to have Honorable Martha Karua to be the lead counsel, and it becomes a problem. I absolutely don't see any reason why. But every cloud has a silver lining. Our colleagues now are going to be in prison maybe for the next, now by 7th of January, it could have been like 2 months. Of course, they're going through a lot of pain. The silver lining in that you've stood firm, keeps on exposing this government to masquerade in life is not good. When you are masquerading, the longer a process takes, the more your real colors come out. Because people see contradiction between theory, what you talk about, and practice, what you do. So much as the two colleagues are going to suffer, it's good that time keeps on exposing these people in government. My advice, those who are in government, many of whom are colleagues because we serve together, no government is permanent. When you honorably serve, many of them have been shot at, many of them have been wounded. They have continued serving this country because many of them love to see justice, love to see peace, love to see a country which is developing. But when you have served and you have left, your own colleagues who are still in uniform come and treat you the way they treated that major. I don't even know him, I've never interacted with him. What does that mean to you who are still in uniform? What does that mean? That you make sacrifices for a country. That even when you get out of uniform, you have got rights like any other individual. You don't have to be on the side of the regime. You do whatever you want to do. That's the country we want to see. My advice, those who are in government, be sure that as day follows night, there's going to be a day when you won't be in those offices. I appeal to you, do things now when you are still in government that will enable you to leave uniform and offices, ministries, whatever, so that you can find a country where there's justice. That you have got rights and freedoms that are going to be protected by the law, not by any individual. Not by any individual. We thank you, members of the press.
Thank you.
Right is might. That's what many people don't understand. Right is might. So the Ugandans who are terrified and they keep on withdrawing and say, oh, things are dragging on, things are dragging on. This is our country. This is our country. The only way we can shape the future to be as we desire it to be is to keep firm, including those who are in government. And to our, it's unfortunate this happened in a neighboring country, Kenya, which we have all always felt secure in. What they did now, imagine, exemplifies what happened more than 30 years ago. But that's the last time a senior politician was abducted from Kenya. That was the late Mzee Barakiria in Nairobi. That was the second UPC government. When they abducted him from Nairobi, we know, those of us who were in the bush by that time, all our external committees scattered. They all ran out of Nairobi and they went to Sweden. They need to ask themselves, really? You want the same thing to happen 30 years thereafter? Finally, I see the law of cumulative effect unfolding. So we should not lose heart. Even those who are in Syria, for 50 years, never thought that Assad and his family would ever get out of power. But 1 week, he's nowhere to be seen. That's what the law of cumulative effect does.
We, hours of this morning, as the defense team, which was burning the midnight candle to represent Rutare and Vesije, put finalized plans to come here and do a robust defense work. Some criminals from UPDF abducted retired Major Ronald Iduri from his home in Werenga and disappeared him with the sole purpose of frustrating the defense team of Vesije and Rutare. We condemn that in the strongest terms possible, and we have urged the chairman of this military tribunal that if this is not to be projected as the kangaroo military tribunal it is, then they should restrain members of the UPDF from abducting members of our team. That is not the first threat against members of our team. We have been ignoring some signs of intimidation or directed towards the defense team, and we shall continue to ignore those methods. But we must assert the right of the accused to a fair hearing, to a fair representation, to dignified treatment, to their liberties as guaranteed by the 1995 Ugandan Constitution. And we are not intimidated, we are not bullied. We shall come here in this military barracks surrounded by soldiers and continue to do the work of representing our people. We have also the grievance of being denied where to sit. Most of our lawyers today were not able even to get seats, and we have not even concluded the issue of representation because both the military tribunal is in cahoots with Museveni and the Law Council of Uganda, and illegally trying to block the visiting jurists from Kenya from representing Besigye, contrary to his sacrosanct right to choose who represents him as a lawyer, how many lawyers represent him. So we are going to continue fighting these battles on all fronts. There is an all-out legal war against the injustice that has been meted out against our clients, and we shall keep you posted. Thank you very much.
Of the High Court in Nairobi, I have put in my application to the Law Council to be enjoined into this matter. And we are going to follow it up until it is done. We are going to comply, we are going to appeal, we are going to push until it is granted. There's an issue that I'd like to address. Being in Jumuiya, we are very intertwined. There's something that has started happening in Nairobi, which we never had seen. Masked men abducting people at night, and we have had many killings in Nairobi, having masked men roam around during protests. Now we've realized where the source is, and that's why we are here, to root it out from the source. We have never seen this in Nairobi, we have never seen this since the regime back in Nairobi started. But it's been here, and this is why we are here to root out this ill in society. Kieme Gisheru. Kieme Gisheru. Thank you very much.
I want this immigration office to be arrested also, to allow people to enter a foreign country with the guns in their pockets. Were they not checked?
What's your name?
John Kitas from Chiwanuka, a senior citizen of this country.
Thank you.
Omuntu bw'oba osaba ekisookerwako of course kwe kusabako. Okusabako oteekako nti nno oli munnamateeka. Era okwo n'oteekako ebbaluwa eya good standing. Oba nti oli mu bitabo birungi eby'ekibiina kya bannamateeka ne mu ggwanga eryo. Ntolina misango. Bw'omala okufuna ebbaluwa eyo, then n'olaga nti nationality yo. Kasita obeera n'ebyo ng'obiweereza mu Law Council byonna, ate n'olaga nti ne law firm ki wano gy'oyagala okukoleramu ng'ozze Uganda. Ebyo biba bimala okuwa omuntu yenna certificate y'okubeera nti nno asobola okuba nga ayimirirawo nga puliida w'omuntu yenna mu ggwanga lino, naye ng'ava mu ezo ensi ze tuyita Commonwealth jurisdiction ezikolera ku mateeka agatandikira e Bungereza. Era ebyo byonna byonna the Honorable Martha Karua, Senior Counsel Mulambe Kenya, Munna Kenya tekyebuzibwako of high regard, practicing certificate agiina eriko n'obuyembe kuba Senior Counsel. letter of good standing yagiteekako ne law firm mwana abeera akolera eya Lukwago and Company Advocates nayo yagiteekako. Kati ebibuuzo bye baateekawo ebirala ku law firm ya Lukwago nti ate tebataddeko notare yaabwe biki ebyo byonna biri mu law council yennyini. Law council era licensinga Lukwago and Company Advocates yennyini era licensinga ne Lukwago n'abalala Elias Lukwago. Sezo certificate zonna ezirina tekyetaagisanza ate jiwa certificate yo zerina ne mu kyobugunjufu ne mu butuufu bwakyo ne mu mateeka. Law council yali erina okukola mu mateeka kye tugamba okugamba nti waliwo bye tutalabyeko bw'oba birina nabyo bikole ki bituwe olwo oba tobirina lwe bayinza okugaana okusabako. Kyekyo lwaki twesanze nga Martha yazze okulwanirira eddembe y'omuntu ate kati ali mu kwerwanako ng'owa pleader. Kyennyamiza kitta ne spirit kuba munnamateeka ddembe lye okupracticinga profession ye wonna kati kirina mumuggyako ddembe kati ali mu kulwanirira ddembe lye okusobola kuba nti asobola okukola omulimu gwe mu Uganda. Mu busongasonga bwe baawadde mutaabadde ensa ebimu byatuuse n'okwogera ku muntu nga ye n'enneeyisa ye. Ebyo tebiri mu mateeka. Enneeyisa y'omuntu nga azze wano bw'eba nga tamenya etteeka nga tolina musango gw'omutaddeko tolina buyinza nga law council kugenda mu ezo ensonga ez'enneeyisa y'omuntu. Ekikugira ge mateeka singa abadde berestrictinze ku mateeka kyalale kibulako kye bayita further particulars nti waliwo bino ebibuzeeko osobola obbireeta nti layisensi y'ono teriiko osobola ogireeta n'ezo naddala eziri mu kabada zaayo. So ndowooza byonna bukwakkulizo byonna ebisaanyizo the Honorable Martha Karua abirina